everyone. Thanks for having me here. So I work at Blockchain.info, and we're basically giving information about the wallet. That's one of the things about the blockchain, about the Bitcoin blockchain specifically. We do that in two ways. We have a website, Blockchain.info, where you can see, if you type a Bitcoin address, you can see the balance. You can see all the latest transactions kind of drip in like a rainstorm or a fire hose, depending on the season. We also have an API, which I think is more relevant for the hackathon theme, where you can programmatically get the same information out of it. The other thing we're quite known for is a very popular Bitcoin wallet, which you can use in various ways. And what I do at the company is I help with the web, the version of the wallet that runs in your browser. I'm on that team. I live in Utrecht, about 50 kilometers from here, for those who don't know. And I commute to London because we have an office there. We have another office in New York City. So this is kind of what the wallet looks like when it runs in the browser. All the UI that you're seeing, for those developers who are familiar with AngularJS, anyone? Ooh, sweet. So all the UI is built in AngularJS, but all the Bitcoin specific stuff, so making a transaction, checking your balance, loading and saving, that's actually all happening in a pure JavaScript library, which is completely separate from the UI. And that means that you can actually load that outside your browser. I don't know if this color works. Yeah, you can still see the wallet faded behind it. So the idea is that you can run the functionality of the browser in a server or just in a command line console, which is great if you're trying to play around in a hackathon. Is anyone familiar with NodeJS? Okay, well, that's great. If you're not, if you know Python or Ruby or any server-side language, it's kind of all the same idea. They all have their little quirks. What I'm about to show you is really experimental. It's not really supported, but I think it will be useful by the time you guys have a hackathon. Just send me an email if something doesn't work. So basically, you run a command called npm install, which is the node package manager. So you just install this package, my-wallet-v3, and a version number so that you know it's sort of in a good state. And then you simply load it, and you're ready to go. So what can you do? You can create a wallet. So just provide an email and a password. You should have a strong password, but for the demo, it's your money. So you create it, and then at the end you get something back called the wallet identifier. It's just a long UUID, or GUID as we call it. This number is your login, which you normally use if you log in on the website, but you can also log in on the API. We're going to do that here. So that's the same ID that you saw on the last slide at the bottom. Same password, and there's some two-factor authentication magic, which in this case we've turned off, but you can do all that stuff too. So SMS verification, email, whatever. Okay, so now we're logged in. What can we do then? Well, we can get a Bitcoin address. So the wallet has multiple addresses, and you can show one, then you can go somewhere else and send it some actual Bitcoin. And then you come back and you call get history and to get the latest set of transactions, and then the wallet knows, oh, I've seen these transactions, so now I'm more rich. Here's my balance. So in this case, I tried this at home and I gave this wallet about 70 euro cents. Or what is it? 113,000 Satoshi. A Satoshi is 100 millionth of a Bitcoin. Okay, so what is a wallet? Well, there's various ways to do it. In our case, we create basically a JSON file, which is stored on our server. But we don't want to be able to see your private keys, because then we would be able to spend your Bitcoin or confiscate your Bitcoin, or worse, we could get hacked, and all sorts of bad things would happen. So this JSON file is encrypted, and that's encrypted using your password, which is why you need this strong password in the first step. see, the most important piece of information in this wallet is the field called seed hex, and it's just a series of numbers, which is really just the sort of the root private key. It's one key that rules them all, and you can derive other keys from this root key. And these other keys will give you addresses. So I can create an almost infinite set of unique Bitcoin addresses in one single wallet, and they all come back to that number. And you can convert that number into a series of words through a standard. And I don't know if it's readable, but if you go to some computer and type grant, please, funny, inside, coil, else, book, play, roll, ostrich, never, Arctic, you've just made, I don't know, 50 euro cents. So those words are the key to the kingdom. This means that you can write them down on a piece of paper, preferably with a pen, if you make sure that your printer is not hacked. When you write that down, if we disappear off the face of the earth, you still have your Bitcoin. So you pick a strong password so no hacker can ever get to it. But if you forget your password or something bad happens, then you still have these words. And that's really just stored in that file. And then there's a bunch of other information that just makes it easy to use. Like you can label addresses and that sort of stuff. And you can control all that from the command line. But this happens behind the scene. Okay, so most important thing you want to do with your Bitcoin, I would say, probably is to spend it. So you might have a computer program running on the server that says, I'd like to send Bitcoin to this address, and it'll basically do that. To address from which account you're sending it from, how many Satoshis you're sending, and then it signs it and sends it off. You might have a paper wallet lying around. I don't think it's as popular anymore, but it used to be that you could get these QR codes. I think if you go to the Bitcoin ATM here, you can actually, and when you buy Bitcoin, it'll spit out a piece of paper, and that'll have a key on it, which will look like the number, the long string at the top. It'll be displayed as a QR code, but that's basically the same information. If you type that in, you can actually import that into your wallet. And then use that, get the balance, etc. Okay, so maybe you're building a shop and you want to make sure that you're waiting for a customer to pay you before you do something. Maybe you want to send them a file or something. So you're going to monitor a specific address that you control, and you're going to wait for a transaction to come in. Technology you want to use for that is called websockets. Is anyone familiar with websockets? You guys are all super smart. WebSocket is basically a way for basically don't call us, we call you. So rather than saying, dear Blockchain.info, is there any money on this address? Is there any money on this address? Is there any money on this address? That would hammer our site and be very annoying. So basically you tell us, let us know when there's money on this address, and we'll send a notification. Notification will look something like this, which you'll have to process. Most important pieces there are the address that it's coming from, the address that it's going to, and you basically go through that and you say, hey, that's me, okay. And so a piece of code like this would, just in simple JavaScript, says if there's a message, check if it's a transaction. If it's a transaction, check that it's sent to me. And if so, celebrate, do something. Send a file, give someone permission, sell the product. Okay, but maybe you want to buy some Bitcoin. So that's a new feature where we've started partnering with another company in Denmark to be able to buy Bitcoins. And they have an API themselves, and our wallet sort of integrates that API. But that also means that you can now do that in just simple NodeJS. So you add an account, you just provide the country and the currency that you want to use with them, and then they'll give you an offline token, which is sort of a login token that you can use. Rather than a username and a password, it's easier for automatic login. The only thing they'll need is they want to make sure that you verified your email, and for that we sign a token. Basically, our server signs a token saying, yes, this email has been verified by us, Sjors Blockchain, and that's signed cryptographically. And basically, the wallet will then give that to our partner, and so our partner doesn't have to also send you an email to verify. So identity stuff. It's not a blockchain technology. It's literally just a signed token, but it's very, very useful. Okay. So these account details are stored in that wallet that I just showed you. So again, we can't see any of that. And the Bitcoins you buy will go straight into your wallet. They don't go to us. How do you buy Bitcoin? With basically this piece of code. And I'm cheating there because, unfortunately, when you use a credit card, you have to deal with the legacy banking system, which we're still trying to educate, making things automated. So you'll actually have to go to a website and send the actual money there and maybe go through some compliance things. But once that's done, it'll show, again, you just monitor it, the address, the same technology we used before, just even easier, and Bitcoins have been received. With banks, you might even be able to automate it. If you have a bank that has some sort of API, you might be able to tell it, like, make a SEPA transfer to this, company with this amount, and you can automate it completely if you like that sort of stuff, which you should. I'm going pretty quick here. Signing a message. So let's say you want to make a statement and you want to make sure that people believe that it comes from you. Maybe something like, I am Satoshi Nakamoto. Well, this command will let you do that. So you can say that I own this address without sending money from it. Just sign a message. And conversely, if somebody says, hey, I own this address, you can verify that. That's really all I wanted to demo. I'm open to questions, technical questions preferably, about Bitcoin in general or what I just showed you. Is that a ball? Yes? Do we have the square thing? The cube?
Who wants it?
Over there.
So you hear me? Okay. Will your Bitcoin wallet library contain some functionality which you can transfer the Bitcoins from all the addresses that are inside the HD wallet at once?
Per account, you can do that.
Not per wallet, or? Not per wallet or per...
Well, if you write a script, you can say for account in accounts, send all.
Okay.
There's no... You have to think about anonymity a little bit there, because accounts are sort of supposed to be totally separated sets of it. So an account is a set of addresses. Not everybody calls it account, but it's basically a group of addresses, and you try to keep those separate. So it's almost like having separate wallets. So if you send them all at once, then you're kind of saying to the world, look, all these things that you thought were unrelated are the same. But technically, it's super easy.
Okay. And one other question: how does it communicate with it communicates with Blockchain.info on the background, or?
Yes.
Okay.
So rather than having to learn our APIs, you would use this. Alternatively, you can learn the APIs and use those directly, or you can see what's happening in the background. So I showed this in NodeJS, which is a server-side language. The other thing you can do is you can actually just go to the wallet website and type blockchain.mywallet, and then you can do these exact same commands that I was showing you in the browser window, which is nice because in the browser you can go to the network tab and you can see all the requests that are being made. So it's a nice way to figure out how an API works, but just seeing how the wallet uses it, and then you can just do your own thing.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Yes? Maybe pass the... Oh.
So this is fail-safe. You broke it?
Yeah, I think you broke it.
I didn't broke it. Anyways, I'll shout a bit. How does Blockchain.info connect to the Bitcoin network? You run your own daemons and we have to trust your daemons, or can we choose?
So I'm a front-end developer, and I do not know how the magic works in the back end. That's a disclaimer. So as far as I'm concerned, I get the information I need, but there's other people who know exactly how to do that.
Sjors, can you also, are other companies using the API and this service to create new products and services already?
I don't know as much about the API. That's actually why I was demonstrating the wallet.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
As an indirectly. I know there's people using it. I'm not exactly sure who and what for. I would have.
But the wallet is available for everybody here to basically use and integrate
yes,
into
you
their
can
own
use the wallet, or you
right?
can use the API directly. That's public. It's been used by a lot of people for a long time, but yeah, I don't know those details precisely.
Okay,
But
okay.
yes, please do use it.
Is there anyone here that already developed applications on top of these kinds of wallet services? Okay, Dimitri, can you tell me a little bit about it? Let's try the mic one more time. Do we have it, or is it still broke?
So for us, it was very the most interesting thing for us was coloring coins, adding messages to transactions using operator and stuff like that. For regarding Blockchain.info, at the time, 2-3 years ago, we were registered as being spammy, and so we had to. I don't know how it works now. We didn't have the WebSockets at the time.
Oh yeah, the web.
So that's kind of should be more recent.
The WebSockets have been there for a while, but they were just used by the wallet. They were kind of hard to find. But they're there.
But yeah.
About spam flagging, I'm not sure how that works, because again, that's done on the back end. That's, I guess, a delicate balance.
Yeah. Well, I guess WebSocket solves a lot of stuff there. So.
Yeah, WebSocket is great if you're monitoring a specific address, I would say, or just you want to count all the blocks or something like that.
You know, if it's possible to use the operator, add a message to a transaction through the wallet?
I don't know. I don't know if those get flagged or not.
No, but can you do it through your NodeJS API or?
Well, tricky, because basically the wallet internally uses Bitcoin.js. So if Bitcoin.js allows it, it allows it. But I've never actually played with it at that level. But send me a message. I know some people who might be able to help you.
All right.
Okay, so, and maybe I can.
You would definitely be able to construct a transaction. I don't know if it would get sent through us, but then you can send it some other way. Worst case.
Cool. Anyone?
All right, cool. Well, just maybe another example we tried a couple of years ago. That's when I met your colleague Nick as well. It was in 2014. Remember, there was this thing called Google Glass once. So we thought, well, wouldn't it be pretty, in a nerdy kind of way, cool when you could do hands-free payments with a Google Glass. And then when you go to a bank, well, on the banking infrastructure, you can't make such a thing because they don't have any APIs. You can also work a lot on building your own wallets, deterministic wallets, etc. But you can also use, for instance, the API or the wallet of, for instance, Blockchain.info, and that's what we did. So basically, you could say, "Okay, Glass, make a payment." The camera zooms in, it sees the QR code, your balance, the recipient, the amount of bitcoins transferred to euros. And then you nod twice, and basically it turns green with a check icon in it, and it really works. And so I think it's like you have a banking infrastructure out of the box to play with. It's like a big sandbox. That's the way I see it, on which you can build all kinds of financial services. And if you want to demonstrate how it should work, in your opinion, then it's a really, really, well, easy, it's not to say, but it is a good way to start developing with.
And without the need to run a full node on your machine, which especially I think in the beginning is a bit of a barrier. I mean, if you're building a production application, maybe you want to run your own node, depends on your trust situation. But especially if you're just getting started, like npm install and you're done, that's I think easier.
Right.
But there's a lot of tools out there, so I would definitely recommend check everything you can find. Try everything.
Cool. Sjors, thank you very much.
You're welcome.